Hello, humans. Welcome to Audio Face, a relevant podcast about music news and culture. It mostly matters. I am Sean,
I'm Dan.
and this is
This is Mucus Face, episode 306.
Mucus Face. I love it. Yeah, 306. We got three records that we're going to talk about. We got In Sexy Trust by Sexyy Red. We got Dark Times by Vince Staples, and Frog and Boiling Water by DIIV. 2024 just
We have brought from we have forested from the woods for y'all 3 albums. These are 3 albums. That's basically all I can tell you. These are 3 albums indeed. Yes, thank you for accommodating us on this Memorial Day. Hope you're having a great Memorial Day and whatever you memorialize. Hashtag no politics. And I'm gonna respect that this time. Yeah, I'm excited to talk about our music and our story that we have this week. I should do like a news run through because I'll be honest, maybe it's the Palestine stuff when it comes to Audio Face music news. I've been like, if it's not the beef, let's just get straight to the albums. And I've been kind of enjoying that, but there's some news to go over at some point.
There's one thing to go over, but the rest is just pure music.
Yeah, like basically what I'm saying is it's been a slow news week. It's been a slow news couple months actually. Other than the big things like Diddy, and then there's other. Well, yeah, there's that. Yeah, but we does this out here anyways. So make sure you're go to audioface.show for all the links. So glad I made that, so I don't have to say a bunch of social media handles that we barely use. And that's not what I should be saying. Audioface.show for yes, all the stuff that we have. All the links you can follow us, where you can keep up with us. I'm making new templates for those things to be used more. And oh, that's right. Sorry, I was talking and stalling while I was also adding some links into the rundown because we're about to do that story. So yeah, I can go into it pretty much because I know, Sean, you have cold. So I will just run with that. Yeah, so Nicki Minaj has been arrested or was arrested. Oops. This was in Amsterdam and it was for drugs. Now, you might be wondering, Dan,
how?
Isn't where when a mama drug and a daddy drug love each other very much, don't they go to Amsterdam and make more drugs and sex work? Yes, he would be correct. Amsterdam is the closest portal to Satan's armpit. And they've been trying to clean up both some of their seedier red light aspects and also their drug image. And due in large part to the English, but making Europe great again since so it was interesting. Nicki Minaj was leaving the Amsterdam airport. She had weed on her, the old Brittany Griner, and the issue that had with that. Thank you. Thank you. And
is she gonna get locked up now for 47 years or something, or what?
It's one of those things that's as I wear the weed shirt, not saying anything, but flying with cannabis is illegal due to federal regulations in the United States.
It's extreme illegal.
That being said,
any narcotics.
Yeah, that being said, from time to time, cannabis travels from one part of the country to another, and there's air in the middle. So I'm just saying, it happens, right? But basically, this is rule number 2 of that, which is bring it in is one thing, bring it out is another thing. They're both you're not supposed to do them, but they're both different games, right? So she had a small, she had the cannabis on her, because this is a podcast about morals, values, principles, and the motorcycle bikes that go through my street. This is, we're gonna have to show the mugshot here, just for the old mugshot awards. Yes.
Oh, here we go.
Listen, face card,
baby.
Face card passed. I'll give it that. It's a good mugshot, right?
That's actually a really solid mugshot. It's all right.
Yeah. No. This is a if we were, and we do, rank mugshots at the end of the year, I would say this is a pretty respectable one.
No, it's solid.
I love the show. But yeah, Minaj was visibly shaken, and we knew this because she was live streaming during the entire time because, of course, you're just live streaming everything all the time now. And it was she was supposed to play a show in Manchester at the Co-op Arena. Now, let me tell you some stories about the Co-op Arena. I'm actually not going to do that. But basically, the Co-op Arena is a new arena in Manchester, and it has been cursed. Basically,
It's been bad.
it got constantly delayed. Every artist, either for the venue reason or the artist reason, almost every single one has had to postpone their shows.
Mhm.
They finally got a couple of shows going just a couple of weeks ago, and then Nicki Minaj was supposed to perform at Co-op Live Manchester, and she missed it because she was in jail.
My favorite thing is the very heavy accent guy, the announcer, the arena announcer. He goes, "Due to unforeseen circumstances, tonight's concert will be postponed." And then you hear some like
Manchester,
raggedy,
baby.
absolutely, and then you hear some raggedy fucker be like, "Oh, why the fuck is it canceled? What the fuck is this shit?" And I lost it. When I heard that, I lost it.
You can't watch any thing like that and not just go, dance country.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we meet the dance today.
Oh, there's much like Kendrick Lamar, there's layers to that.
There's extreme layers to it, but that's layer one.
Yes. Dear London. No. While we're talking about the really quickly, we're not going to talk about the disc record really at all. Maybe in certain parts in the reviews, but some folks who are watching in the comments, Anti-Corporatist is saying, actually, did you see that South Park style animated video someone did for They Not Like Us? It's fire. I haven't seen that yet, but people have been really creative with it. Like I've seen little like anime chibi versions of it. I've seen YouTube poop versions of it. I'm honestly just waiting for the Homestar Runner version. I might just make it myself because like that's just or
that right
better.
there would be my Christmas.
No, I want the Team Fortress 2 version before I want that. Yeah, just who that this would be a good one. Who in TF2 would be Drake? The spy.
The spy.
He's the creepiest one. He also fucked the Scout's mom, so like that definitely counts. That's probably
true.
that's serious. Drake
But who's Kendrick?
Oh, the Demo Man.
I always forget about the Demo Man.
Yeah, it's just like he's a perfectly friendly guy. Don't let him drink and like don't make him angry.
It's true. Angry Scotsman.
Yeah, something about Duckworth also feels Scottish to me. I don't know. It's something. Anyways,
there.
The last thing I wanted to mention out of the story is Nicki Minaj, whether she's playing, whether she's not. But while we are talking about tempers, she apparently got mad because her DJ, notably not arrested. Let me put this up here. He was totally fine, and he was at the Manchester Arena, and so apparently someone caught a photo of the DJ who was in the arena because the fans had definitely nothing else better to do. They were like, oh yeah, he put in there like someone's like signed someone's chest, and Nicki said, I promise I'll fire him if I ever see this again. Which could be a joke, knowing Nicki Minaj might not me.
She definitely done. I mean, people around her inner circle have definitely done worse.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Some of those who are legally contracted through, means have definitely done worse.
Yes. Contracted. Discounts at the Rogan says, when will we get a musician mugshot tier list? Oh, we do it every single year.
Dude, we literally, it's tradition. That's the From To Dusk Till Dawn award.
And that's what we've nominated. Yes, we've nominated Nicki Minaj for her Dusk.
Do you not remember last year where I made Dan? I almost
had
ended
some special
Dan
guests. We had some special guests.
I almost ended Dan and I's friendship because I tried to get him to win the mugshot award.
You become a member and check that out. Discounts at the Rogan, you are a member actually, so I need to make sure that's uploaded. But yes, we did that in the Audio Face Awards every single year. We've done a mugshot award. Last year we had to do brackets. We used to have a Noted Little Bitch award. That episode's definitely, and we still do have the Noted Little Bitch award.
We always do that. That's tradition too.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, a couple years ago we did brackets for that, and that is one of our lost episodes. that yeah, just become a member, see what happens. You'll get a lot of the
I
lore if you
forgot
do.
about that.
You'll get a lot of lore. You'll get a lot of lore
You
if you do.
understand
So
what
yes.
sliggity means.
Uh, stopping. It's I want to, but I can't.
Yeah, no.
So yeah, that's what's going on in Nikki world. You know, she's wealthy, so she will be fine. And yeah, best of luck to her dealing with the Dutch courts. Anyways, shall we do music?
Let's do it.
Oh, let's get both of us on the screen here, huh?
Oh, shit. All
Yeah, let's
right.
do that.
All
Okay,
right.
yeah.
First album of the day, serving up Gary's Way Bean. We have In Sexy We Trust by Sexy Red. 14 songs, 33 minutes long. Why do you do this to me?
Well, Sexy Red is kind of the uh female rapper du jour, like,
Yeah.
of the month, like, service right now. We've seen a lot of these, and some have better staying power than others, some have better talent than others. Cardi B's been on this, Latto, Megan Thee Stallion, uh
Hmm.
Ice Spice, and you know, like, the formula's pretty simple. Take a woman who's willing to be like overly sexualized, give them like, if you're doing a video game, like choosing characteristics and rankings, like make them a 2 out of 5 on the rap list, but give them like a 5 out of 5 on just like personality and execution. And it's just like, okay, cool, we'll just do that and plaster you everywhere. And yeah, Sexy Red is definitely getting and has that sort of treatment. I mean, it's pretty impossible to avoid any of her songs when they're you know, like when you're outside. Ski was, I even when I say it, it's like nails on a chalkboard to me. So we'll get here in a moment. But songs like that have been really, really popular over the past several years, and she's helping to put like St. Louis rap in a mainstream way, like kind of, yeah, like bring it to a mainstream way. This album, mercifully, is 33 minutes long, as we said, and mostly features production from Take Heat. So usually they pair you know, women who are like rapping at this level, like Megan Thee Stallion or Cardi B, with like really good producers, and I appreciate that. Seasoned producers from like the early trap eras of the mid 2010s, and you get some also their collaborations with Mike Will Made It, which I enjoy. Lil Baby. We'll get to the elephant in the room in the moment because it's like pretty early on with Drake featuring in his first, you know, official feature since the old fashioned ass thrashing. That was the beef that with Kendrick Lamar. And that song actually, you know, predictably or not, has a lot of eyeballs on it, especially because a lot of Kendrick's disses had to do with Sexy Red. I believe the line was, when you're dancing with Sexy Red, I believe you see two bad bitches, like you're trying to compete with women, which was you know, tertiary, quartary, like complaint that Kendrick Lamar had of Drake in the beef that people are still like analyzing and going through. But yeah, overall, this is an album. I'll put it like this. It's if you're like, Sexy Red is a very acquired taste. I appreciate her ability to like get a rise out of a crowd and an audience in a way that a lot of rappers just don't have that like live presence and energy. But most of the songs are just trash and most of the lyrics are like very repetitive, and it's like really a slug to get through the one or two like passable things that are there.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just, again, right, we have a very short leash when it comes to trap on this podcast now because everything is recycled. It's not, it's very boring and bland, and that's kind of what this album is. It's okay, but I never got into her music, especially with her voice. Like, I just can't get over that shit. It just sounds awful. Just not good.
Yeah,
And then the Drake.
the intonation, the way she's rapping. I mean, let's put on the overall rap scale. I think it's still better than most of the male rappers that are out there.
Is
Just
YB
like,
better, right? Like, do I got to bring back the YB scale or what?
YB's not better than this.
The YB's definitely not better. Like, absolutely.
Yeah, it's closer, but yeah, we'll dust off the old YB scale since Ack hasn't been using that lately. Ack seems to love the scales.
Um, I'm not gonna
So
say that.
walk past that.
I'm gonna walk past that exactly. The track with Drake was hilarious because him going on
Yeah.
BBL Drizzy and trying to like play it off just makes him look more like a bitch. So
So
now it's great because it's like he doesn't know that we're all making fun of him, right? And we're still going to be making fun of him, and he's like, "Look, like, I'm taking it on the chin."
well,
And it's
he's taking the um on old Twitter, there used to be just the phrase like he's taking the post through it approach, which is basically the equivalent of uh don't I think it's the old drill tweet that was like, whatever you do, don't report in the paper that I was mad. And like that is just Drake's persona, like personified. He, like you said, Sean, he's just not really taking the idea that he lost the beef. He's so yeah, like you my everything starts with a, actually I think one of the first three tracks are just like dog shit. I'll be honest. Like
awful.
it was really terrible. If you acclimate, I guess is a good word, to Sexy Red, you get some like, gems out of this. And I think they come from the collaborations and they come from the really good production. Like I think that Outside's another one here. But yeah, Sexy Red does that. And then Drake starts rapping on that song as well, which is, natural. Drake and Sexy Red have been a lot with each other lately. It's something Kendrick even pointed out. And so Drake gets to the middle of it, does a beat switch, and it's like a slowed down, different tuning to BBL Drizzy that Drake is rapping over the song that Metro Boomin released as a, cap off to the Not Like Us release sequence and a response to Drake's Shut Up and Make Some Drums diss from Push Ups. And that song went almost as big as Not Like Us. Like people, I'm seeing this now on TikTok and like my friends who also live across the country in like major streets. I was talking to one of my friends, Braden, who lives not to brag, but like on the beach strip in Miami, right? Like the major one. And so, a whole collection of music and smells. And so I'm just gonna walk past that one. In So like people have been doing this like window car test. Way more people are playing Not Like Us, but people are playing BBL Drizzy too. So for Drake to come back around and saying, no, you don't get it. Women come to me when they want their BBLs because I'm so rich, I give it to them. And BBL stands for Bad Bitches Love Drizzy. So it's like an LL Cool J, like Ladies Love Cool James type thing. It's one of those, okay, now I can tell when he doesn't have a ghostwriter because that's when it's corny.
That's true.
And
Yeah.
here's the thing, like it was, I think, trying to take some of the stuff in the vacuum, like it's fine. And Drake performs fine. And I think he's like pretty good at dynamic we've talked about where you have to like compliment another artist when you're working with them and not like overpower them when you're featuring on a record. I think Drake is a good collaborator like that, not just for helping you on the charts, but like I think he's good at that role. But the whole thing of the beef is that like Drake, you are acting not your age. Sexy Red is like 25, 26.
So she can get away with that.
And like, yeah, she can get away with that. And Drake, when he was 25 or 26, could get away with that. The whole point of the beef was grow up, Drake. You have kids to raise. Release an album about something, like release a 444, release a For Your Eyes Only, or a Forest Hills Drive, release a Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Grow, Drake. And this is showing no growth / negative growth because he's still playing the petty game of let me get my and one, and it's going to continue when he releases in the summer. And I came up with this thought while I was talking to Braden, so I want to get this on the record here. I think the Overton window has kind of shifted. I yelled at him Israel Palestine because I just wanted to make a crazy comparison in that Drake is in that kind of situation where Israel is in, and I promise this is going to wrap in and make sense. And we won't do hashtag no politics in this way. Sean's confused, but he doesn't trust your boy.
Never.
Before October 7th, if you had told me that a significant majority of the Democratic Party in the United States of America, both, elected officials, no, definitely not elected officials in this case, but, voting public and voting populace, if they were going to have a negative view of Benjamin Netanyahu and Israel and the entire situation, even be informed of it. And if I had known about that in like September, and you had said, okay, by like February of next year, by your birthday present, the Democratic Party like constituency is going to turn against Israel, I would have said, listen, I don't even want whatever you have. Your brain is in a place that like I don't know if my brain will ever come back from that. It's like, please don't give me that shit, right? If you had told me that Drake that like people would be bopping their heads in clubs yelling about Drake's weird behavior about women. If you told me that in like January, I'd say if it happens, probably not for another 5 years, but probably not in my lifetime. Even as early as March, when Bam and C's and John and I were talking about this in the group chat, we were like, Drake is pretty untouchable. But I say all that to say, like, we are now at the point where when Drake does his usual annual drop, the Overton window has shifted so that like Drake hate will be more allowed. I'm basically saying all the things we've been saying about Drake for years, that he's repetitive, that he's not being creative, that his
It's just the
music is
same.
last up
And
there.
yeah,
We're all of a sudden going to hear everyone say that because it's now cool to say that. It's allowed to say that. That's going to feel like a hot take, right? And we know Drake's not going to deliver. And so like that's to bring back to Sexyy Red. That's the Drake you're seeing here. But like that, my prediction is that you're going to see, oh wow, this is the album that people turned on Drake, and it was because of Not Like Us. And it's like, yeah, kind of. But also, people have been saying this about Drake for a while. Even these media outlets that we criticize all the time, they've been saying this about Drake for a while. But now you can say that in a pop music kind of context that's like beyond the music perverts like us who like, read music critique and go through full albums and shit like that. So that is to say, that's my prediction. Hear me now, quote me later. And it's recorded, so I will be. But yeah, this is truthfully, so I like Outside as well. Get It Sexy is earwormy, it's catchy, but these aren't good songs. She falls in the trap of a lot of female rappers like at this level, where so much of their songs are just like over sexualized, the point where it's like, it's not like I'm being prudish as a man, especially because this is a lot of what men talk about too, but we criticize this in all forms of like rap, whether men or women do it. Just rap about different shit. We criticize it in pop music. Just like stop singing about breakups. Just like do different shit.
Seriously,
like,
do different shit. Right.
Yeah, that's applicable to any genre.
And then that's applicable to the whole beef of like grow up, right? Of write about different shit, like write about introspections and other stuff, right? Like that's why we hold those albums to acclaim, or pull an Arctic Monkeys and just be like, what, fuck it, I'm gonna write about a moon colony and I'm a lounge singer in the moon colony if we actually colonized the moon like we were supposed to in the 70s. Why? Fuck it. Right? Like something like that just makes it the different, but it's not horrible. YB is not better, so at least if I said YB better, then that's when you gotta be concerned.
Yeah. I was just laughing at your other comment because I was imagining an alternate universe where like we did colonize the moon and there was like a city, like a colony on the moon called Halliburton. And I was like, a colony on the moon called Halliburton is definitely like either an Alex Turner or a Tom York single album.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the last Shadow Puppets new album. We're going in today.
That's the next Adams for Peace.
Okay. Adams for Peace, the Lost Halliburton Colony. There you go.
If these things happen in threes, I mentioned Israel, Palestine, Drake. Dear Lord, take your pick. Either another Adams for Peace or like another Horrors record. Either one, and I'm good.
Dude, the Horrors have been like straight blue balling us for 7 years. The entirety of our goddamn podcast, we've been waiting for another Horrors record. They released some singles and EP, nothing yet.
You never forget your first hit of Fent, man. Arbitrary Scale.
Man.
Arbitrary Scale.
We got that secondhand cop Fent. What? Arbitrary Scale this week. We do arbitrary scales every week because
so potent. If you look at it, you fall over.
We give it a arbitrary scale because we don't like giving a number ranking or a letter ranking because that detracts from our actual review. So we give it one that doesn't make sense. So that's the whole purpose of it. So This week are alarm clocks. I don't know. Is it like styles of alarm clocks or the amount of alarm clocks you have?
It could be alarm clock sounds. It could be however you want this
Ooh.
to work.
Okay.
To me,
This
this is one of those like classic, like the alarm clock emoji with the bells on top of it that like actually ring and shake that are like actually annoying.
this
That's how it
is
describes Sexy Red.
this is the default alarm on the iPhone, which gives me PTSD whenever I hear somebody's alarm go off randomly at 2 p.m. on a Friday at Kaiser. Um, that's
Oh
very
yeah,
specific.
I'm not gonna out this person, but an on-camera person that I know of would set their iPhone alarms as reminders. And
Why?
so
Why?
and it would have that sound and it would be a volume all the way up. And I was like, this is gonna make me go postal. Like this is gonna do it. This is exactly what's gonna do
Like
it.
that's stochastic terrorism. That's what that is.
It's stochastic terrorism. Before we go into the next one, Anti-Corporatist is like, are there actually any actual dances for Not Like Us? Yeah, crip walking, but I don't recommend everyone do that.
You gotta get
Th-
your fucking elbows out when you do it too.
no, yeah, you gotta get the heel toe in. You gotta, yeah. Discount Seth Rogen says Sexy Red and Metro Boomin are both from St. Louis, so the logical end result to the beef is a rap battle on the arch.
That's a good one.
Views from the arch. No, yeah, I did notice that a little bit too. Like, yeah, Drake is now colonizing from St. Louis too. Look at that. Felipe says, "Comrade Drake degrowth." Next sexy industry plant, Bam. You heard it here first. I mean, he kind of mentioned it on Power Report, but I can confirm it here first. Bam's second diss track to Bibi Netanyahu is coming out. We're dropping it on Power Report this coming Thursday, so watch out for that. And yes, if you're watching and you haven't already, hit the like button. If you're on YouTube, share the stream, and we are going to go in a moment into the next album. Go. I keep thinking it's broken every single time. I just have to tell myself it's like, no, that's
that's the cover.
that's Vince all capsing me.
That is Vince all caps. That's your version of all caps.
It kind of is. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So next album review of the day, serving up Gary's Vaping. We have Dark Times by Vince Staples. 13 songs, 35 minutes long. Long Beach's own Vince Staples. One
Gargantuan album for him.
Right. So we had Ramona Park Broke My Heart, what, 2 years ago at this point, right?
Yeah. I cut you off when you were saying one of our favorite, like,
yeah, one of our favorite artists, I'd say.
I have a little bit of a bias, let's say.
Yeah. You definitely more than me, because I definitely like old Vince Staples, like Hell Can Wait Vince Staples. Like, love that shit.
Same.
But this is an interesting record. He actually kind of says that, where he says people wanted the old Vince or something on one of the
people wanted big
lyrics.
fish Vince. That's an Andy's gonna kill me. Etouffee. The song in the middle. And song 6. And
Annie, why did you choose a language that doesn't make sense, where you just take half the word and then the other half the word you just get rid of it like a wet fart in the wind?
Says the German.
Well, the German, you would say
it's the opposite problem.
You would say like every single letter in that bitch,
and it would be like 95 letters long.
Yep.
This is song 6, beef regulation. That would be a hard name for a song, beef regulation. Like, imagine releasing no, like the German name. And so, like, when you decode the actual names, like, why would Kendrick Lamar release isn't Kendrick Lamar German or something? It's like, why would Kendrick release a 96-letter word? Oh, it's a German word for regulations on beef. Isn't that deep?
Dude, that would have gone hard if he did that, or even better if he did just the acronym for it too. Because example, like passenger vehicles, PKV.
Yeah.
If you just put that, people are like, "What the hell is that?" And then you look at the word, and it's just like the length of your house. It's great.
You're like, we can go back, please. Thank you. Okay, but
all right.
These are 13 songs. This is Vince's "Get the Fuck Off of Out of Def Jam" release. This is also his first release after his actual show happening.
Yeah, that's right. The show, and then this is his last Stuff Jam, right?
Yes.
End of an era.
And he's also expressed interest in just like not doing music ever. So, enjoy Vince Staples as it comes because you never know with this guy. Um, we may find him in the dude that makes family movies. He was a gangster rapper. I mean, he's getting in his acting bag, so we'll see. Um, but yeah, no, what do you think of this record and the single "Shame on the Devil" as well? What is another? Yeah, Vince is gonna put out another radio unfriendly, slow, sort of like reflective thing
Hmm.
about his, thoughts and traumas from living in Long Beach, which is like, I guess, even as I say it right there, a little bit of a sort of tried subject matter that he's done, but he manages to keep it fresh throughout. Like, whereas other rappers like 21 Savage will literally copy paste lines and lyrics and tropes and rhymes that he has used from other songs before talking about his verses. And he gets somewhat of a pass because some of his like metaphors with guns are like really clever. Vince manages to he's been pretty introspective on most of his albums since the self-titled in 2021, I would say. Um, the rest I'd say could be like a little more varied, but I think since self-titled, he's been like pretty inward with
For sure. And
how he's
he's
been
kind of
rapping.
and he's stuck with this kind of sound, this slower sound of and everything, right? Like, uh,
Pretty unique and rapped, yeah.
yeah, in a way where like it definitely took a turn because you had big gaps in between records, right? For FM to self-titled was 3 years, and FM was kind of like this weird, not
It
even a
was a
full
drop.
album as a drop, right? And then you had Big Fish Theory, which to me is just an incredible record, but really a one-off because he's never gonna make that kind of sound again and whatnot, where you're really uh,
Sadly.
sadly, which is just something
I
that
mean,
we want more rap artists to do and stuff is to really get in with electronic artists and stuff and to because there's so many cool sounds and ideas that you could do. And that album was 7 years ago, and it's still like is fresh with the sound with everything. So, um, but definitely like from self-titled onwards, you've had this slower type sound that I think suits Vince in a way, but at the same time is kind of holding him back. So I'm really interested to see what hopefully he keeps releasing music. To see what his first record post Def Jam will sound like because it
Jeff
depends
Dam.
on Def Jam, right? My Sean's language is even more deteriorated than usual because of being sick. It's fantastic. Um, because then you might link up with different types of producers, you might link up with more interesting people and whatnot that can um, be influential and stuff and can get him back into kind of that creative experience and stuff that he's done before and whatnot. And he's shown even on these introspective records that he can do. So I'm really excited for that part. But now getting really into Dark Times, what's interesting with this is he's now throwing it back almost to his career with a lot of the sounds and tropes and stuff and lyrics that he's thrown on Dark Times. Like example, Government Cheese, it has a little whining sound from Blue Suede,
Mm.
right? That little ring, ring, like that's the intro of Blue Suede, right?
Huh.
Which is one of my favorite Vince tracks, just because it's just so ratchet.
Yeah, I
Love
know.
that shit. Um, and right, he talks about saying, like, hey, they want Big Fish Theory Vince and stuff, right? But that's not happening, right? Because he doesn't want to make the same thing again. Which fine, okay, cool. Um, I think the production is fantastic on this record. I really like the sound of it, the theme, the motives. Like it just thematically, it's beautiful. I really like it. I think like the lead single "Shame on the Devil" I love how he releases like these very radio unfriendly tracks, as you said. And there really
Made it
isn't any like
hostile.
right. And like there's no like real bangers in this track or in this album, I would say. It's plays out really beautifully and almost like a poem as you're going through it. But there's no like even like law of averages or anything like that, right? To where it's like you can really bump it or on the self-titled. There really isn't any of that on Dark Times. Dark Times is really like a record. it's like it's interesting for Vince, especially because normally I was expecting one or two, maybe three tracks to kind of go out just to get some bangers out, but this is not that, and he makes it abundantly clear on the record like he doesn't want that. That's not what this is, and I kind of applaud him for that. So
Yeah, I like what you said where you were like, there's no bangers on here, because I had to go back and refresh my memory. The self-titled Vince Staples record that I enjoy so much,
I really enjoy it too.
and really tried to lobby for it in that year's Audio Face Awards for Album of the Year. I'll let folks watch that episode to see where we landed. But that record, I think, was really focused. You had Kenny Beats oversee all the production on that, whereas this is an album where you have a number of different producers, and that's not a bad thing. Big Fish Theory had a number of different producers on it.
A ton.
Rest in peace, Sophie. Kendrick Lamar was jumped on that beat too. But I think on here, yeah, because Vince, when you're producing, you're making songs for Vince. He's gonna lean into that darker stuff, that kind of like grimy but sort of smooth. Like it's really something you get in like rolling in your car music type thing. That makes sense characteristically. It has that like LA kind of tradition within it. And so Vince is gonna gravitate towards that. That's not to say that he's limiting at all. Again, see Big Fish Theory, but to that banger point, like the self-titled album had a lot of bangers, but it was still an album that was full of storytelling. It was 22 minutes long, remember? So like everything had to be very quick and get in, get out. And so I think because of stand by this still, because of that refinement, you got like the punchiest version of Vince Staples you could. And I think that album really like needs to get more credit than it deserves. Maybe it'll be discovered in the future again. But since then, like I was thinking with Ramona Park Broke My Heart, there were some good songs on there, and Magic did some pretty good numbers, but like I didn't really come back to it the same way I did literally any other Vince Staples album, from like when I discovered him, from like Hell Couldn't Wait, Prima Donna, Summertime '06, to hearing Big Fish Theory, even FM. But like Dark Times, I feel like there's more depth in this record with like the lyrics and what he's talking about, where like I need to listen to it more times than I have even with other Vince Staples records, where others ones I'm just like, I'm listening to it because I got it the first couple times, but I'm just appreciating it more. This feels like it has more depth than usual, so I do enjoy that. And I think the song Étouffé is a little bit bangery. It does that like deep thing, almost like a Lil Fade or
yeah, I think it's a good song. I really like it.
But like it's pretty much that one.
That's it. Like that might be the only one you could kind of consider. Everything else is not there.
But that's not to say it's a bad album. It's just like,
no, it's a great album.
It's interesting. It's interesting for Vince to take this approach. I don't mind it. I'm also a little bit biased. I like that you can kind of dig into this record, but yeah, still all of my bangers from Vince Staples tend to be coming from 2021 and before, which is, I don't know, like interesting. Not all of them, but like most of them. And that may seem like a time thing, but I feel like I tend to lean more towards newer music, especially like if it's like fresher, because I haven't played it as much. And yeah, I like Vince Staples. I could like show up for him. For sure. I've seen a bunch of the shows, but I still kind of feel like while this is a good record with a lot of lyrics to kind of go into, it misses some like moments where I wish it had a little bit more energy instead of being just like a, you know, solemn head bopper like he's used to making. So, but hey, but overall, I like it. I recommend folks listen to it.
Yeah, I like it, and I'm really excited for his next project, his first non-Def Jam record, and to see where he goes with that. I'm really excited to see, because it's been
10 years,
13 years.
Yeah. To be honest, I'm not sure how big of a difference it'll make. But yeah, I'm hoping there's just like more opportunities to like, I hope he makes more music. I hope he works with some more producers. And yeah, I hope he introduces some sounds. It's like I don't even think like, oh, Def Jam had like bad producers, because it's usually Vince choosing the producers. And like I said, we have great songs from all of Vince's career, but especially 2021 and before. Bangers you could play all the time. FM had fun. That one
Oh
you
yeah,
could
that's
play a
right.
lot. You could play that a
Forgot
lot,
about
right?
that.
Like that was a Not Like Us level banger in the Southland
Mhm.
for a minute, right? Like that was really good. But yeah, it's Invents. It's an album called Dark Time, so maybe it's not gonna have these like hits or bangers or whatever, and it's gonna like lean in that lyricism, and I'm fine with that. But I'm also expressing what I wish it had to, because that's criticism, baby.
Mhm.
Arbitrary scale.
Arbitrary scale. We do arbitrary scales every week. So our review and listen to our review to get our actual thinkings on the record. This review are alarm clocks. Um, this is definitely one that you made yourself, like an alarm clock that you made yourself, like you made the sound yourself on the on your phone or something. So it's not like a default one. But then you accidentally snooze it 3 times, and then you get the default one after.
I thought you were talking about like physically like building one's own alarm clock. Like that was
No,
that was
no,
like 3D printing, teenage engineering style. Like, okay, cool. We're not doing that. it's,
that'd
it's,
be
it's not
great.
it's not a paunch job. Um, yeah, for me, this is going to be that's a good one. This is gonna be so there are memes. Like the only times Android phones or like memes get any love is this one on TikTok where it's like Android users waking up in the morning, and there's this old default Android Samsung one, like alarm noise that was literally like someone on a ukulele strumming the most like nice dun 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 dun. It wasn't like overly obnoxious like Samsung can be. It was generally a pleasant thing to wake up, and people were just like resting their arms and smiling and like looking outside at the sky, and then it would go like how people with iPhones wake up, and it's that like alarm sound, and people like freaking out on their things. Anyways, that was the fun thing. Someone in the comments said, what's terrible? The comments button is so close to the end stream button, I get scared every time. But Felipe says, hope you feel better, Sean. So
Thank you.
look, people out there care.
Thank
They
you.
really care.
They
And he also
really care.
and Felipe also says, artisanal degrowth alarm clock made from sustainable materials in the community.
I like how people are getting onto the arbitrary scale. This is great.
It's like the community degrowth, or the community garden of
Community garden.
yes. I used to know a guy who would go off on community gardens for almost no reason. Anyways,
Damn. So where did they touch you?
let's go on to the last album.
I wanted you to step around that one. So last review of the day, serving up Gary's way being, we have Frog and Boiling Water by DIIV. 10 songs, 43 minutes long. Jesus Christ, 2024. What a year. DIIV? So DIIV is a band that I recommended because they released 2 of my favorite indie albums fucking ever made. You had Ocean in 2012. And then is R, which is the official verbiage of Sean. The official
Yep.
Oxford Dictionary of Sean is R by DIIV.
Damn it, boy.
In 2016, which I wish we got to review it, but we didn't have a podcast then. Since then they had some really interesting things with DIIV. Like I don't remember if I brought this up in Deceiver, which was 2019, 5 years ago already, which is an amazing Jesus, like wow. I know like one of their, I think they kicked out one band member for posting racist shit on 4chan years ago, and like 2016,
the old Doja Cat.
The old Doja Cat, hanging around Doja Cat and some Nazis allegedly. You had one dude get arrested.
That's one of your better and some, Sean. My heart almost skipped a beat there. We also made it conspicuously past Manchester without talking about anything else. So
I mean, it's all
Audio Face is a podcast about Audio Face is god damn it. Audio Face is
just
a podcast
a lot of layers to that one.
Yeah, I was gonna say Audio Face is a podcast about dodging landmines.
It really is. You had one member who was arrested, I think, for possession of heroin or something. But this is all like 10 years ago or almost. So the band broke up. It happens. They
They're
come
not a
back.
rock band.
I mean, it's an indie band, so it happens.
Statistically speaking, in an indie band, one person,
one guy will get
freaky.
One person will end up on 4chan for racist shit. Looking at you, Matty Healy.
Yeah,
Other,
you have to like spin the wheel, and like 40% of that wheel is slurs, 40% of that wheel is like assault of some kind, and the other 20% is just like
just like
wild
drugs.
card.
Just wild card. Yeah, wild card.
Yeah, it could be drugs, could be like
Ponzi
you know,
scheme.
I was gonna say crypto, so like yes.
Crypto. Yeah. Uh, and then they bring out Deceiver, which they really changed their sound, and we like that record a lot. You loved Blankenship
Skin
because
game.
the
Yes.
Skin
Oh my
Game,
god.
Blankenship, because just you want to hear about woke shit, listen to that.
The
Because
song like brings chills to me still. I was thinking about it just the other day and I actually forgotten that it was a DIIV song.
yeah, it's DIIV. And then but wait, there's more. They make a whole goddamn anti-capitalism record called Frog and Boiling Water. This is in the words of Meek Mill, there's levels to this shit. Um
Quoting
yeah,
Meek Mill in 2024, they don't make him like you're
yeah,
gonna
I
have to
mean
work
it's
those out of the rotation.
right. Um dude, there's so much shit in this record. Like it's so it continues kind of that sound from from their last record, that kind of more muted, quiet sound. Because it was interesting. Their first two records are very upbeat sounding, but the lyrics are very introspective and stuff like that. Is our Ocean. They're more like surf rock kind of. And but granted, I mean, some of the members are on, I think, Beach Fossils and stuff, so you can kind of get why it sounded like that. But the past now two records are definitely more subdued and more really dark sounding, and it fits the lyrics and fits the theme and tone, I think, very well for them. And
It's sort of mature and borderline shoegazy, but not to the point where
yes,
like I wouldn't ever say shoegazy is like boring or endless or even monotonous because like a lot going on there. But I think shoegaze songs I think just like objectively longer, and that's not what like they're going for here necessarily. But
yeah,
like like there's a lot of dynamism in it, so I wouldn't necessarily just call this shoegaze, but like it has that element in it there.
for sure. But the thing too is, right, like, my whole stance on indie, where a lot of people are making this grunge sound and stuff and just making a throwback, right? Dive use a grunge sound but make it 2024 sounding, which is interesting with this record because, right, and I think the second track, Brown Paper Bag, is a perfect representation of this kind of shoegazy soundy, but modern in the way that it's sounding. And then if you look into the lyrics, it's very, very, it's deep, right? And like one of my favorite lyrics on, or like one thing, which I think is on Fender in the Freeway, something like that, where it goes, systems fail and empires fall.
Mm.
Right? And then
Michael
Frog and
Brooks, the
Boiling.
record.
Oh my, this is Michael Brooks' record. Frog and Boiling Water, right? Literally is talking about like how people, like, they get, you know, they're so depressed and stuff, but they try to post online and everything because they want to show everybody that they're not, and that's how they try to get their fake happiness, is by that, instead of living life like you're just outside, not touching grass.
So
Um,
that
or and it's just, man, there's so much in here that it's just basically like the whole system has failed and it sucks, and that's why everybody's depressed, is because we live in a shitty system and society that is not helping anybody. And I'm like, Michael Brooks, the record.
Michael Brooks, the record.
All you got to put is some like random South American president that you've never heard of in there, and some like Nelson Mandela shit, and then that's Michael Brooks, the record.
Sidebar, because you just put me here. I thought this would be a no politics audio face, but in classic fashion, we've touched Israel,
Frog and Boiling
Palestine,
Water is a
South
very
American
political record, so
politics.
you can't
Hey man,
do it.
yeah, we've
Play
touched
Dive.
yeah, we've touched feminism. We've touched we talked about Coalmeister Blankenship, Brinksmanship. Which one? Yeah, like it's another one that's like gonna take me more than even like the audio face, like 2.5 listens to really dig
Dude,
into, because
this
I
is
was
like a
amazed
good
at
5 listen album at least.
yeah, because
Just
each of these each of these songs like covers a little bit of an aspect of like those things making it worse, like, you know, In Everyone Out, in Brown Paper Bag, which are just all phenomenal sounding songs. But then it's so easy to get lost in DIIV's instrumentation and production because it's so vast and layered and it's constantly changing. Like you said, like I was sort of like wondering how to, in other words or like in additional words, describe what you meant by bringing grunge to 2024. But if I can't come up with a better description, that's definitely the end result you do get, where this is not a grunge that feels like it's too callbacky to the 90s. I think we're kind of at a point where the style of grunge callback we're doing is like that post grunge stuff you got in the aughts that was sort of like dreamy, and I just am characterized by a lot of like fuzzy distortion pedals on the guitars.
Mhm.
But you know, even speaking of that era, this feels like in tone a sort of like 2000 style like Radiohead yelling about
Mhm.
politics type of album. um Maybe it's not as, you know, fantastical and experimental as a Kid A, but definitely has like a the Bend sort of like eeriness to it. And yes, it's very political all throughout it. Can we just do an episode on Hail to the Thief? It's been a long time.
I mean, that is my favorite record ever. So, I mean, I won't say no.
50 of the odds.
50.
You only get to pick 2 Radiohead albums.
Oh,
That's
that's easy.
easy for me, actually. That's actually very
Actually,
easy.
no, that's really hard. Fuck. You have 3
Yeah.
spots.
Yeah.
You have
You can only pick 2. Our
I had to sleep on that one.
You have to kill your babies first, I think.
Yeah, that's Sophie's choice right there. That's Sean's choice. Like that's rough. Rough.
Yeah, no, you definitely have to check what state you're in before you do that one. Anyways, with this album, you wanna. I can't believe they're getting rid of NBA on TNT. It's just an absolute debauchery.
Oh my god, it's a travesty.
It's like Audio Face Sports. We got to do arbitrary scale. Chuck's insults the state of Texas.
Oh,
Because
please.
we have enough for an arbitrary scale.
We do. There's a lot there.
San Antonio, Galveston, Austin, Houston. Yeah, there's a lot. Anyways, and then Somber the Drums, a song about how Charles Bart. Never mind. But yeah, it is kind of amazing how they're able to put these unique tones together and like do that, come out like really unique sounding, and come out making an album that doesn't sound, you know, like their other albums in the past.
Nope.
It's really like, I've got to dig into this one more and I'm going to really enjoy it because yeah, Blankenship was such a, I had to like break that down. I made like a whole like social video about that, about like how that directly tied to that politician and like a story of how his capitalist ways just like destroyed the lives of these coal miners. I think it was like, you know, Black Lung was involved in this as well. There's like a major political story that was going on. I was like, oh wow, look at the guy who like allowed all of, like, purposely pushed and encouraged and went past any idea of going against opening these coal mines and keeping them going, and not providing anything to help people and treating the poor people like shit. To have that as the album
Yeah.
is it's a gift.
Like, yeah, and these are, you know, to the people who are like trying to make, you know, political records or whatever, you know, like you had a lot of that in 2020 and some bullshit, in 2021 and some bullshit, right? Fuck the fake activists, in the words of Kendrick. Frog and Boiling Water is like, oh no, it's like everything, the whole system, and we got receipts for these things.
Yeah, if you're going to talk, if you're not going to beat around the issues and like actually address things head on, then yeah, sure, go for it.
And this is the right way to do it, right? Like, another one, The Rotating Village, Profit Off Suffering. It's great.
We are eating good this year.
We're eating good. This is an amazing record, and really,
this spring alone has been like 3 years.
This has been incredible. Like May, this has been the best birthday month. Like I don't do birthday month. This has been a birthday month of just music releases and beef and everything. And
again,
oh man, it's great.
I've mentioned this before, but I mentioned this specifically in this episode. If you had told Sean or I in the beginning of this year that people would be in the club talking about how Drake's entire crew is full of addicts and PDF files, I like in the clubs, like normal people.
Like normal people saying if then, right? Like it's great.
Yeah, like I just wouldn't believe you. I wouldn't have believed you. I was like,
No,
I
neither would
didn't
I.
I didn't believe things could be that good. So
No, like we've never been so back. We've never been so back.
we've never been
Uh,
so back.
and this is just solidifies why DIIV is one of my favorite indie bands because
Great intuition. Not that it was ever it's never in doubt, but like just great intuition.
well, my thing with them is just all 4 records sound different, and they're spaced apart brilliantly every 4 years, just about every 3 to 4 years. Take your fucking time between records and projects, right? And make something. And if you're gonna say something, say it. Don't beat around the bush. Go full gas. It's great. Great record.
I also
We love
encourage folks to go back into their earlier works as well. Like I mean, like
absolutely.
sit with Frog and Boiling Water. It's really like what music is meant to be. When we're judging a lot of like popular music, and please support us as we do so using the link that's scrolling below at syndicate23.co or on YouTube and Twitch. But when we're talking about these albums that are really, really good and what makes a good album, it's something you want to come back and listen to because there is so much there. Just like a good book has like, oh, I want to read that again, or I'm compelled to read more by this author or more in the series. It's because it's a good book. It executes well. There's many forgettable things or forgettable like works like that. But authors, writers, comedians, when they do good things consistently and they change up their work, they do deserve credit for it. They should get credit for it. And that is what makes them, like really good at what they do. And that's what we reward is kind of like what I'm getting to, right? It's like when we say like, Sexyy Red should be better. Drake has no excuses. And I'll remind folks again, one of the nicer Drake reviews we've given was actually honestly Nevermind. Because yeah, even though we pilloried the shit out of that album, just like most people did, that's the most Drake has attempted to change his sound in a long time. And that's what we respect the most, is an attempt to be like artistically different. And you know what? Like now your boy is downloading a Jersey Club remix of Meet the Grams, and I'm going to use that as my alarm clock until, probably I'm 38. And so, because it seems to be every 10 or 15 years with these alarm clocks, definitely I should sue Madlib for the mental health damage that Paper Mill has done. Because I remember I remember exactly why Paper Mill, the unreleased MF Mad Villainy 3 song, was my alarm clock. And you remember why?
Why? Oh,
I told you when it came out that it was like, oh, we're actually getting Mad Villainy 3. To celebrate, I'm going to make this song my alarm clock until it comes out.
And Doom died, allegedly.
I mean, but that was, I don't even want to mention the year or the amount of time high school was for us, because we're now at the age where like hiding our age might actually make us sound more attractive at times. But like that was an extremely long time even before Doom had died. So yeah, I've been waking up to Paper Mill with little variation for, at this point, almost a third of my life.
That's crazy. Because wow.
Morgan!
Yeah.
Kind of helped with German, actually. Maybe that helped.
Maybe that, yeah, that's true. That's not. It's just
we do need an arbitrary scale for this album, right? We
we
wrap
do.
This up, right?
Yeah. Arbitrary scale. Alarm clocks. This is definitely not even an alarm clock. This is just you wake up and you got a ton of energy. You wake up at 4 a.m, you're ready to wash the car, go do the dishes, do whatever, and you're ready to go. Even though you're like 4 hours early for work, you're just ready for that shit.
This is, you wake up because the sun hits you in the morning. You open your phone on TikTok, and the first video that comes up is Uncle Joey's morning joint, and he tells you some like motivational shit. that gets you
You
get
gotta
up
get
out
up.
of bed, cocksucker.
You gotta get up, grab your balls, and take what the day will give you, cocksucker. That's how you gotta do it.
Yes. um. Also, Frog Foible says sup. Hello, good to see you. And Felipe with one of my favorite quotes ever, because we called this Michael Brooks the album. It was this one. It says, "Be ruthless with Dan, gentle with Sean." Because there's that Michael Brooks quote, "Be ruthless with systems and kind to people." That is great. Thank you, Felipe.
And gentle with Sean should be the quote of Audio Face.
I really do like that. That is
That's great.
that is how
clever.
it should be. But yeah, arbitrary scale. We do arbitrary scales every week on Audio Face because our review is our review. Rather than giving you a letter ranking system or a number ranking system to tell you how we feel, we're going to describe how the album is, and you've got to decide from there. But just for fun, we pick a random thing every single week, and this week it is alarm clocks, and I think we just told what that was, and so I am just over-explaining. I think I was over-explaining it because the new person came in and that threw me off.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah. So basically, I explained all that to say that is why we will be going off in like 30 seconds. So, yes, power. Usually we're on Sundays. Yesterday and today, I just have like weird schedule and family things. So it's just
Happens.
Great time. Just great times. So yeah, usually we're on Sundays. I haven't checked what's out next week. We usually. We'll see what's coming out. But Power Report will be on Thursday. Not usually related to music, but just also saying Bam's second Netanyahu diss is going to be premiering on Thursday.
Every time you put that, it just makes me laugh.
It's just good to have. It's just nice to have. Also, I made Bam laugh because you just got to be really careful when you drop the Taco Bell Def Gone. You don't have to abuse it, but you just have to be careful when you drop it. Also, tomorrow I am going to post. I'm gonna try to edit it tonight because I really care about it. The video where we did on Power Report, where we're watching Jimmy Dore's God conversion.
Hold on, Jimmy Dore's God conversion.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean? He went full There Will Be Blood, like full full Church of the Third Revelation on us.
He is going. He stopped smoking cannabis or using cannabis for 7 months, and he now believes in God and spirituality.
I can't say that on stream, so I'm just waiting for you to stop that, and then I will tell you.
I will send that out in a moment. What does it mean to play us out? Sean, play us out and just mention the name of the website, and then we should.
Thank you for watching Audio Face. Thanks for joining us on a Monday. Sometimes life happens. Life comes at you fast. And you could find all the links, everything at audioface.show. You can't find me because I'm invisible. Dan from all the stuffs. And yeah, that's it. That was fun. And I like these chats and stuff. So maybe sometime y'all can come up with an arbitrary scale and we might use it. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I should start asking ahead of time. Dan, planning? Nah.
Ever.
If I had time.
Dan on uppers?
Uppers, Dan? Y'all don't want to see me with an Adderall prescription. That'd be too much for the world. I'd just be
that would be paper mill at 4 times speed.
I had something like that worked for 3 days and stopped working because my brain is just special. And yes, it was like that. And the doctors say I'm special. Oh, the music's getting louder. Perfect timing. Cool. We're just gonna end there. Nice.